What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Shiny Shuriken video. It is the Week 7 draft analysis for the SRL, and you know who I've got with me. Why don't you say hi, Bishmii?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Back on Shiny Shuriken's channel. Always love to be doing these draft analysis videos. I'm excited to be here, as always.
For sure. I've got myself a delicious cup of coffee. We are shooting this early in the morning. It's a beautiful day. And we've got some beautiful content coming for you guys here. So we're going to start off like we normally do and show you guys what the power ranking changes were. So as you saw from the Week 6 videos, I came off of a loss. I had an 0-1 loss. It was a tough one. I tried to build in some RNG into my game plan. Don't worry, I learned to never do that again. But I think I did play well. I kept the game close, and the power rankings were actually nice to me. I actually still moved up one spot in a weird week with a ton of close games and upsets. Actually sees this team jump one spot despite the loss. So I kept a strong showing. Like I had said, I think Coach Aboot played very well, but I don't think I got outplayed. I just tried to prep for too much RNG. I think I had the right team and I was set. I love the movement. It's an interesting movement. I would have understood dropping one spot, but gaining a spot's pretty nice too. Bishmii, comments on that?
It's always weird seeing someone go up after a loss, and I think that happened to me too. Or no, I lost and I didn't move. But I want to say something that might have a big factor to that is like the Lisbon Arcanines dropping 5 spots after they lost to I think the Gengars, and so like it kind of was a weird place for the power rankings. I'm not sure. I think like as the season goes on, they don't want to like make too many drastic changes.
Yeah,
but I would have liked getting my spot back, after winning.
Flip flop us again.
Yeah,
I would have been fine with it.
Actually, no, you would have stayed, and then I would have like jumped on top of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it is what it is. Like in the showing, the match, yes, they're taking a part of like, how do you react to what's going on, your risks that you're taking, just like how you take the match, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
in like a better position.
Yeah. I mean, my movement, like we said, it's one hustle miss and I win the game.
Yeah.
So I think it was a really tough one. It's interesting movement. I mean, it's tough. I mean, if the power rankings are going into the details of every match, I get it that sometimes a loss doesn't always mean a drop, but it's interesting to see a gain on a loss. So I'm not complaining as the one benefiting from it. So Bishmii obviously touched on both mine and your standpoint. Any other comments on your movement of gaining a spot after your 1-0 win in Week 6?
Not so much. Like I said, I feel like the Arcanines, taking that hard loss, kind of made it easier for everyone between 4 and 8 now to kind of like get some movement.
Yeah.
Which, is I appreciate, I like going up rather than down. What can I say? And Beartick putting in the work last week.
Without without Swift Swim, by the way, guys.
That was Swift Swim, It was like bro. Yeah, that was so silly, man. And I think like another reason why I didn't see like too much growth, because like that risk, like with the Como living on 1%, like that was just so lucky.
Yeah.
Like, we seen your match, you were unlucky, so it's kind of funny.
I don't know if it was really I got unlucky with some damage rolls and some hustle misses, really, and a nice, well, no icicle crash miss, but that's really where I got unlucky, and that's not something I can truly count against the damage rolls. I had like 3 different damage rolls that just didn't roll in my favor to get KOs, but it was a tough one. All right, so let's hop into some matchups, you guys. So the first matchup we're going to be taking a look at today is Bishmee's Week 7 matchup.
All right, so going into this matchup, like the first thing I was looking at mainly was Senna Scorch, and I was like, yo, Senna Scorch doesn't even look that good on paper, and I switch it to Morpeko like right before the battle, literally. So I just lead off with Morpeko because getting off those aura wheels is scary. I'm running that metronome set that I ran against you, I believe, and like just keep pressing is going crazy. Well, it would like get a lot of momentum. As you can see, you know, it gets an Oko on Braviary.
I mean, I like it so far. I mean, the match looks weird. I'm not sure why they chose to leave Braviary in on the aura wheel.
Like we could see that Morpeko outspeeds Braviary, unless it was Scarfed, you know. But then it's like, it wasn't Scarfed. So why did you leave that in? That was really weird.
And maybe just a misunderstanding. I mean, I had to just re-clarify with you that when it's in hangry mode, the aura wheel becomes dark. So maybe they thought Boltant was going to live the electric type attack.
Right.
Because then Boltant comes in and gets wrecked.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I do see that. And, like, you know, I guess they didn't really know what Morpeko did. And so, like, it switched to dark mode, and they're like, oh, maybe it's still electric. So, yeah, I could see that.
But then your strategy's all gone. The strongest of EQs comes off from Rillaboom, which it's a tough one to switch out when you're +2. You got to remember the metronome is +2 for Bishmii at that time. And so to toss off a resisted aura wheel is still looking very good.
Because even though, like you said, it resists, you're still going to be at, you know, +2, you know, might as well just take that damage.
Yeah. And here's a really good read here, too. I like your read here.
Yeah, because, you know, Brave Bird is just so obvious, you know. So I just want to get a U-turn off. I know even if he does stay in, it's going to do a lot of damage. You know, being super effective.
Yeah.
Brings in the Pex. Now, not sure, like, what set he was, but I do know that thing loves setting up as much as Pyukumuku. So I ran Taunt on Weezing to you know, nullify that quickly.
No, I think that's a great play, which we see the Weezing come in here and gonna taunt the Toxapex to neutralize its ability to run spikes, toxic spikes, blacks, Baneful Bunker, Toxic, Recover, all of it. So yeah, great play.
9 yards.
Great play.
And like my thing here is, you know, we see him go for the skull. Now I'm not sure if he watches the videos, you know, he probably sees that, you know, Weezing is not especially defensive. So I mean, I like him going for that damage to see, but then it's like I expected him to keep going for Scald at that point, you know, maybe fish for the burn. You know, Scald is 30%, and I tend to get burned on the first Scald, so, you know, nullify that Black Sludge immediately. I expected him to stay in, but he does to Rillaboom, which was a great switch, you know?
Yeah, very good play from your opponent to read that Thunderbolt. If they read the Thunderbolt, that's fantastic. I mean, they have to have assumed that you had Thunderbolt because you went hard Weezing on Toxapex, but
yeah, I could see that. You know, he's like, well, oh, he must have something on his Weezing that hurt my pecs. So yeah, we trade EQ for Sludge Bomb. You know, both throwing off a lot of damage.
Big damage.
Yeah, and you know, my defensive Weezing, I'm like, I'm not trying to get hit by another one of those.
Yep.
So I bring in my Mandibuzz to maybe get off another U-turn, you know, if he switches out. But I guess, you know, he looked at how much damage the U-turn was doing, or I'm not even sure, you know. it just really hurt not picking up the KO here.
Oh, for it to live on a sliver, gosh, that's so tough. And you actually almost click to go into the Sigalith.
Yeah.
Which I think you were kind of like scared of a knockoff, right?
Yeah, I didn't want the knockoff to hit. I didn't know how much damage it was looking like after seeing that earthquake on my defensive wheezing. Like, I was like, no way. So I'd bring in Verzian here just to pick up the KO. I go for the Leaf Blade just in case he switches. Like, maybe he wants to save it for Death Spotter. I just throw that off, but he lets it go down. And, I just want to say it was a great battle, we pick up the 5-3 win.
Yeah, that was it. That's the extent of this matchup. You guys, Bishmii had a great win. I think that both coaches played really, really well. There's nothing else to see here. If you watch the video, I don't know what you saw, but we just saw the end of the match right there. Yeah. No, as you guys can see, Ice Cube comes in. Bishmii's taking a look at what Pokemon and.
I forgot like how to play use that Pokemon when it came in. I'm like, wait, is that Mimikyu? Like the disguise. Let me break it, and then it goes for the belly drum, and I'm like, wait, I just set this guy up to sweep the team.
I always predict out belly drums right away and immediately go out to my special attackers. It's like the number one way to play Ice Cube is to belly drum, so it's like you have to switch because you cannot give it the speed boost from breaking its face.
Or even like if I had a focus sash, in the bag just in case. I did speak to Super Sartans, and he said that he did not expect me to bring Scorch, and that was just really surprising because it is my Gmax. I've brought it to every other match, so for him to expect me not to bring it was really interesting.
Yeah. And
I did trade it for Morpeko. Like if you guys watched the video version, I actually built the Morpeko right in front of everyone because I was just really planning on bringing Scorch until like 5 minutes before the battle.
Yeah, and as we see, time running down, we get Como-O coming out, which I get is the hope that the defensive Como-O can just live one hit and get off a Drain Punch. But these belly drummed Icicle Crashes are not missing, and they are hitting way too hard.
And yeah, like there's a 90% chance. Just a little throwback to your week 6 match. I just kind of had to go off the miss. Eventually, hopefully, if a miss comes my way, I could take this thing out and then play the rest of the match out, which sadly does not occur. And I took the time out to do a damage calc. See if Weezing would have lived, but after taking that earthquake from Rillaboom, wasn't in the right HP to live that because belly drum Ice Cube does like I want to say 75 to 89 around about percent. So like after that earthquake, it kind of was good night for Weezing, sadly.
That's unfortunate. You had a very good setup. You were playing well. The only misplay is really the Morpeko on the Rillaboom, but you really can't call that a misplay because you're at a +2 metronome with it, and I get wanting to stay in there.
It's kind of hard for me at least to give up that damage. In retrospect, I could have parting shot it out. It would have been great in the long run. Honestly was not even expecting earthquake actually, but I mean he played great. It was a good match.
It was just the only misplay actually is Virizion attacking Ice Cube.
Yeah.
That's it. There's only one misplay here, and it cost you the game, unfortunately. So, There's not too much to commentate on after the Riz.
After that, it's really cut and dry. Like I say in the video, the team build was cut and dry, and the match was even drier.
Well, let's go ahead and hop over to my matchup. I'm gonna see you guys when we reconnect over there with mine. All right, guys. So we're ready to jump into my match, but before we do, we have just a couple comments left on Bishmee's battle. We chatted about off camera real quick. Is that one thing to call out is on the ice cube. It seems on paper, if he switches Virizion for Sigilyph wins the game. It's game. And Bishmii picks up, what would that be, a 4-0, I think? 5-0? 5-0. Because Sigilyph hits the Ice Cube with a Heat Wave, it outspeeds everything on the team. It outspeeds the Machamp, hits it with a Psychic, it outspeeds the Toxapex, of course, and between Calm Mind, Roost, and Psychic, it should be able to deal with the Toxapex, and if not, he has 4 other Pokemon in the bag that can hit that thing. Thunderbolt on Weezing, Virizion with Extra Sensory, or Zen Headbutt, I think it was, right?
Yes, so Zen Headbutt. And even if, he brought in Machamp to Gigantamax on Sigilyph, that thing has 55 base depth, so the Psychic would have hurt. And I could have just brought in Virizion to Zen Headbutt. Pretty sure, I could have picked up pretty much easily. It's just an ending point that I gotta get down. We're all getting better as we're battling. You win some, you lose some.
Yeah, that's a tough one, but Bishmii made a comment about how he forgot about how Ice Face worked, and what we all have to remember is that there's over 900 Pokemon to remember to keep every single typical build and common sets and moves and stuff in our heads, so we forget stuff every now and then, and it's okay. All right, so let's hop into my matchup here. So my leadoff, Salazzle looked really kind of good, and I was like, you know what? I've got Toxic, and he's fast, and I've got Sash, so let's just do it. Be honest, I didn't know what he was going to lead. On your part for the lead, like you said, Salazzle looked like great against his whole team, and it was kind of like Type Null was there, and I feel like it's a good anchor for his team. I've never battled a Type Null, and I did check out your matchup and saw that he had Type Null without any typing on it. So I was like, okay, well, what's it got to be holding an Eve? I don't know. And then I was like, okay, I looked up a quick build, and I was like, oh, it's like a super bulky Eviolite set. So I tossed off the Toxic.
And that was a great play because he usually likes to use it to burn out Gigantamax.
Yeah, so I thought that was a good play. He U-turns out. I see it doesn't do much damage, so I know it's not very physical attacking. And at this point, I'm just kind of like, all right, let's see what he wants to do, and let's get this battle moving. And he goes Hatterene, and so I was like, this is very interesting. Which is a common theme in my entire battle here with Coach Sen, the undefeated Cerulean City Mewtwo's. I was very confused at a lot of his plays. I'm like, it's a fairy type, and I'm a very, very strong attacking poison type. I was max special attack, Sludge Wave, which gives you the extra 5 base power, and Modest. So it's interesting. So I did a quick calc on screen. I checked like what I was doing to a G-Max, and I predicted that he wanted me to stay in. And I made the move over to Grimmsnarl. I was like, he's going to go Max Mindstorm to wreck. Because I was like, I think I could go down to Sash and get the 2-hit KO on the Hatterene, but I thought that going Grimmsnarl was the better play to burn out the G-Max and not let it hit anybody. So I was like, I'll take the Max Mindstorm, and I predict perfectly.
And I love that play, man. Just a little comment about the Sash. He U-turned, so your Sash was broken.
That's right.
I love that play because you're like, what, he's baiting me to bring in to hit it with the poison move, because why would you bring Hatterene in? It's kind of like too good to be true. So I love the switch into Grimmsnarl, and to burn out one turn.
Yeah. Yeah, I go.
To burn out another one.
I go max guard just so I don't get hit with the confusion, G-max smite. So I have the minimalist turns that I have to try and break through confusion to take care of this thing, hopefully. Obviously, I know I'm faster. I don't have any speed investment, but I don't need it when Hatterene is a base 29. So
I don't know why that thing is lower than Copperajah.
Because it's a premier Trick Room player, I think. Which I was very concerned about. I saw the team and I saw Hatterene, and I think the other one was Mr. Rhyme. I was like, okay, we still have some Trick Room possibilities out here. So honestly, I was waiting for Trick Room to happen. I didn't get the drowsiness off of my G-Max Snooze, and it didn't do as much damage as I thought it would. I mean, that first hit from G-Max Snooze was a crit.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't hitting that strong. But I was like, I don't really know what else I want to do. I don't really want to switch around. I don't want to have to bring something in to take a really strong attack. I was wondering, maybe he switches, maybe I break through confusion, and I get off a snooze and I put somebody to sleep.
Do you think if you like Starfall, do you think that would have cured you from confusion? Like, I'm not sure. How Mist.
I don't know. Does Misty Terrain stop confusion?
We could check, but I do like his switch into type null because that's the only switch where you cannot drowsy it.
Yep, true.
Misty Terrain, it protects all grounded Pokemon from status conditions, including confusion.
I don't know. Maybe. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I forget, how the terrains all work sometimes. But I just kind of roll the dice and hope for some RNG, which is, again, a dumb thing to do. If Grimm goes down, Grimm goes down. Yeah. But I end up breaking through. I get a Reflect Up, which allows me to live in Ironhead. And based on that damage, I should live another one. So the Toxic is racking up. I got some damage off with the G-Max Snooze, and I'm basically just sitting here. I'm trying to figure out, should I keep Grimm for late round screens? There's still Hatterene. There's still Kyurem in the bag. There's still a lot of stuff left in this matchup. So my thought process here was, do I switch on another Ironhead to let Grimm live so I can come in and keep it up with Light Screen and Reflect?
Just a little comment on your screens. Did you forget about Rhyme's ability?
I did, yes.
Yeah, you and Arch did the same thing in their battles, because you both had the Grimmsnarl. You guys set up the screens, and then it's like Rhyme comes in. And
yeah. I went Spirit Break to play a possible switch. I wasn't sure if he was going to maybe U-turn or something. I was faster, but I should have gone Dorcas Lariat. Probably would have saved me one turn of having to hit this, and probably would have let me, I'll mention in a second here what happens, but he gets the crit Ironhead, which KOs my Grimm. Otherwise, I think on the Kelkin, I think I lived the other Ironhead through Reflect. So unfortunate.
It's like a unanimous, you definitely live. And I was watching Sen's perspective because he was live streaming it, and he was like, yeah, it looks like the crit mattered, but RNG, man.
Well, I just broke through all of my confusion, and then I get paid back with a crit, so I was like, all right, RNG's still trying to play the balancing act with me. So right here, I was thinking about what I should do against the type null with my Mimikyu. I'm like, I don't want to show him Drain Punch yet. So I was like, but if he predicts a play rough and he goes, I was trying to also play a switch. So I end up showing off the Drain Punch, which I was kind of upset about. And then the weirdest part of this entire match is right here. I KO the type null with Drain Punch. I literally just used it. And I'm waiting to see what he goes. I'm thinking, he's going to go maybe Surfetch'd or Hatterene. Mimikyu looks great in this matchup. He's ready to go, ready to take on this team. And he goes Bisharp, which scares the crap out of me. I was like, this has to be some of the most secret tech I have no idea about. I'm like, Bisharp, I just used Drain Punch. I'm faster. This thing's maybe scarfed, or I don't know. Maybe he's gonna Iron Head, then Sucker Punch, or I have no clue what's happening.
And like, just a little throwback on our week 6 recap. He's played around with his Bisharp so well. It was 1 and 2, for 6 matches. So
I don't know. I don't know how he used it. Apparently he told you that he wanted to get it more involved, but I was just like, it's not sashed. Even after I KO it, I'm like, I'm still scared because I have no clue what's going on.
Yeah, like in the grand scheme of things, I'm not sure why he didn't just bring in Mr. Rhyme and get the light screen, get the reflect out of there, because even if he was, let's say, focus sash or scarfed, like with the reflect up, you still had your disguise intact, that wouldn't have even done anything.
Yeah, I mean, I had calced it on a basic Mr. Rhyme screen cleaner set that I did about 96% with Shadow Claw, and I think I got the absolute highest roll I could against Mr. Rhyme, and like Shadow Claw with that high crit potential. Obviously, I was hoping to maybe pick up the crit and just get rid of it, but he gets Trick Room up, which is very interesting because now I have to play around Trick Room, and it confuses me even further for the matchup. So I'm like, okay, what's he gonna do here? And he goes Kyurem, which I'm like, okay, he could maybe have built a negative speed Kyurem.
Right. Max HP, negative speed, max special attack. I can see that.
I even say it in my video. I'm like, all right, he's probably got a lot of extra things to do with the 252 EVs. He didn't have to run into speed. And I was like, well, I still have my disguise intact. My end result was, I'm like, all right, I still have disguise. I can go for the play rough. I was looking at Drain Punch. It was doing about half. I was like, that's probably not worth it. I'm going to roll it with play rough. I think I can. There's a really small chance to KO, but otherwise I'm going to put it in Shadow Sneak range, and that's exactly what happens. But I end up even being faster.
Now, it's just like he set up the Trick Room to bring in Amon faster, then...
I was, like I said, this whole match was very, very confusing for me. Sen and I chatted, and he's like, I just misplayed so much. He's like, I brought in Choice Scarfed Kyurem on Trick Room, and I'm like, oh. So my disguise is broken, and Mimikyu's just clearing through this team, and it looks really, really good. There's
4 for Mimikyu.
Yeah, there's 4 turns of Trick Room down. There's 1 last turn of Trick Room, and honestly, like, I guess I could have played to some differential, switched around, and brought Mimikyu back in and cleaned up, because it outspeeds Hatterene, and it outspeeds Sirfetch'd. So, but I was like, I'll just let it go down. I don't want to, something comes in, maybe takes a crit and dies, unfortunately, because that's what I'm looking for here is the switch. I was like, okay, what does he do against Mimikyu? He might go for the Dazzling Gleam to hit me or something. And so I was like, I'm just going to go Shadow Sneak and get some damage off.
Oh my god.
A crit Shadow Sneak would have got that KO. That would have been hilarious.
It's just so funny you say, I'll go for the Shadow Sneak and get some damage. And like, I thought it killed for a second, I watched this match and I was like, wait.
Yeah. So we get good damage, and honestly, right here with Sirfetch'd still in the bag, I honestly just see that my base 160 speed Ninjask cleans up the game. So I'm gonna fire off an Acrobatics, in case he for some reason switches into Sirfetch'd, and Acrobatics takes care of Hatterene. I get a speed boost, so Scarfed Sirfetch'd doesn't even outspeed a regular Ninjask. So honestly, like I'm sitting here thinking like this is game. On the next turn, I'm like, all right, if he is some kind of set that allows him to do anything. He might go first impression, and I don't think I live a first impression, so I run the protect just to save my differential here and let Ninja S pick up this kill.
And you know what, like, watching it from his perspective, he was banded.
Yep.
So I could see him, like, maybe just trying to make it a little bit closer and going for suppression there, just to, like, hopefully get a kill. So, like, I do like the protect play, you know, because it just rules that out.
Yeah. So we end up getting the win, and it was a very confusing win. I was very confused throughout that whole match. I was very scared. I thought there was crazy stuff happening in the background, but it was just, straight up kind of misplays from my opponent, from Sen. Unfortunate. I think, he was 6-0 coming into this match, so he's played phenomenally up to this point, and we all have a matchup where our brain gives out on us. So I don't think it's a reflection on him or his battling skills. I still think he's probably a phenomenal battler. I obviously the record should speak for itself, you guys. He was undefeated, and this was just a weird one. But an interesting note, like, he told me he didn't really prep too much for Mimikyu. I was like, well, that is weird because Mimikyu is like the number one Pokemon to go up against your team. So
like, it was, like you said, before, it's the number one draft pick, and in a Gigantamax, setting where if you're kind of like inclined to bring it, it could just come in and waste a turn with the disguise,
Yeah. Yep, it could, and even his Gmax matchup, my Mimikyu looked good against it because of Shadow Claw. You saw how much damage Shadow Sneak did. Shadow Claw was going to pick up a KO in any other normal setting, so it was a good match. I'm happy to pick up a 4-0 bounce back after that 0-1 loss. And this one was a good commanding win against the number one team in the league. So hopefully we're going to see some good movement.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now we're going to kick it over to our Week 8 outlook. We're going to take a look at our Week 8 matchups. Okay, guys, so here we are. We have got, coming off of my Week 7 win, we are taking a look at my Week 8 matchup with the number one team in the other division. Are we Sword or Shield? What division are we?
We're Shield. So
we are going up against the number one in the Sword division, then, the Dendemil Dragonites. So I get number ones back to back. All right, let's do it. The team, I'm going to say, it is very, very scary looking. One of the top 5 G-Maxers in Lapras is always tough to deal with. You can see that Lapras has come to every matchup, and why not? It is an amazing G-Maxer. It's not like it really has bad matchups. It sets that Aurora Veil, and it's very, very tough. From a G-Max matchup, it's tough. There's a chance. One play style is that I could hope for some good luck and fire off that G-Max Snooze, get a Drowsy, but they're going to immediately get the Veils up. I could protect, hopefully put them to sleep. And there's definitely some options for me to bring, Grimmsnarl does learn Brick Break. I have used a Grimmsnarl.
Oh, wow. Grimmsnarl learns that.
Yeah.
I was thinking Hitmonchan, but wow, that's very interesting.
So, if I can burn out G-Maxes and put them to sleep and get out of it, I can Brick Break the Aura Veil away and start running around. But, I also have to rely on my opponent letting me do that. So it'll be interesting. I believe it learns Brick Break, if I remember correctly.
Because they got the Dusclops and the Gourgeist in the back, just blockers for that.
Yeah, it does learn Brick Break. I thought it was. So I do have that potential. I've got Brick Breakers down the team as well with Hitmonchan, and I don't know how else I could run some defogs, things like that. So it'll be interesting. G-Max Lapras is a tough one to play around. There's a reason that you see it in the ranked battles still to this day. And obviously my opponent uses it extremely well, picking up 13 kills with Lapras. Yikes. Yeah. And then, of course, bringing the Blastoise in, you've got a Shell Smasher, and that's come to every matchup. You can build a bulky White Herb Blastoise that gets off the Shell Smash right away and just takes hits pretty well, so it'll be tough. Between those two, I mean, I've got some options. Galvantula looks really, really good for this matchup, firing off Thunders. So that's one way I could potentially deal with both of those Pokemon. We'll see how that goes. What do you see?
One big thing I see is like the potential for Trick Room with Cyclops, Hatterene, Trampa, Mudsdale, because Mudsdale has come to a lot of matches, 5 out of the 7 that they played, and just really, I know you don't like to like go off of what people have brought to the last match, but in the last match, they had the Dusclops, Trampa, and Mudsdale set up where he was able to set up Trick Room, and then Trampa was able to get a kill, and Mudsdale was able to wall up on I believe it was your week 1 match against Coach Shippy that they played. And just to recap on the match a little bit, the Dynamil Dragonites had that shiny Shuriken luck missing 3 Hydro Pumps in a row, I want to say.
You hate to see it.
In the rain?
You hate to... In the rain? Well, I know I know I had some matchup on stream where I got smoked by just Hydro Pump after Hydro Pump in the rain, and I was like, this must have 100%. Yeah. But apparently it does miss in the rain, is what we're learning here now. So it'll be, it's tough because these Pokemon are also bulky. They are extremely, extremely bulky, and I can tell you right now that let me just divulge it and get it out of the way if my opponent doesn't just, already know about it or something. But while Cloyster looks like a great matchup for Mudsdale, here is what can happen, you guys, because it has happened to me before. That stamina boosts go off after every single Icicle Spear. So while the first one looks like it does a lot of damage, the damage all of a sudden starts decreasing after every hit.
Oh my god. I never figured that would be the case.
It has happened to me, experience is the best teacher. And I went up against the Mudsdale. I thought I was shell smashed and everything, and I didn't get the KO. It lived on like a sliver, and then obliterated my Cloyster. And Cloyster can be so good, and I really haven't been able to showcase it too much this year. It can be so good if you can get it set up when there's really not a threat to take it out, and it can go through a team. But it does rely on a lot of that being that way.
And
but it's...
I was looking at it, I was like, you know what? Cloyster actually doesn't sound bad, but then you say that stamina boost goes off, and it's like...
You immediately put Mudsdale at a +5. It's so bad. I mean, granted, if for some reason you get the flinch that still has yet to happen this season, then I'm fine. I can KO it on the next turn, but I have not been able to get a flinch all year long in 6 matches. Granted, Cloyster, I think, has just outright died in 2 of them.
And then in the others, he just kind of sat in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I mean, outside from the one where, like you said, 2, the one against me, the one against Shibby, he did a little bit of work. And then I'm not sure, where's the other one? Did you use Cloyster?
I can't remember. But, the Shibby one, my week 1 is where if he picks up a flinch, I win the match. And, I don't know, it's interesting. We ended up losing Cloyster, and, yeah, just unfortunate. So, it'll be interesting. Cloyster looks really good in this matchup. This is kind of throwing it back to my week 0 power ranking comment that I didn't have any power on this team. This is going to be wall breakers versus walls. You got Gmax Lapras, Rotom Heat, Dusclops, Mudsdale. Even Blastoise can be kind of bulky. You've got some solid bulk Pokemon over here going up against Mimikyu, Cloyster, Goodra, Galvantula, Inteleon, Hitmonchan, Salazzle, Ninjask. All of these really great wall breakers with strong attacks. So it's gonna be hard.
Just before we close out, I just want to say that Bill Dragonites is the coach of. Well, the coach is the commissioner for the other league I'm in, the BSL, and I have looked at his team a little bit. We talked a little bit, and I want to say that before his team looked like this, he actually had Barraskewda, Frostmoth, and Keldeo on his team instead of Hattering, Drampa, and Rotom.
I would say those are some good adjustments. Giving up on the rain with Barraskewda to go over. That's good. I mean, this team looks nice. It looks like a really, really good team. All right, so now let's hop over. Let's go take a look at Bishmee's matchup, and I'm going to get that on the screen for you guys right now. Here we are with Bishmee's matchup for Week 8. We've got the New York Nickets going up against the Lisbon Arcanines. I'm going to toss it over to Bishmee for his. I don't know about you. That was my first look at the Dendemil Dragonites. How about you? First look at the Lisbon Arcanines?
Coach, I should call him Leafad or Squid, but
yeah,
I'll call him Squid. So Coach Squid, he also has a YouTube channel, so I've been following his battles every week. So I've seen what he likes to do with his team, and it was a matter of time before I matched up against his. I want to say, he was the first coach to take down the G-Max Charizard before we could get to him.
Oh man.
So I'm gonna say kudos to him on that. But this is outside of that, looking at my team versus his, this would definitely be a first. G-Max matchup, I would love to get into it, but it seems like he kind of hates his G-Max. He kind of just lets it die from week 1, like we just talked about. He was actually up against Dendemil Dragonites, and he kind of let it. Well, it got frozen by an Ice Fang from Barraskewda, actually.
Been there. I've been there, Squid.
And he decided to Gigantamax, hoping he could live the next one, and it went down. His week 6 match, it came in on Gengar on a Shadow Ball. It got Spadef dropped, and then he Gigantamaxed again, and then it went down again. So he's kind of been abusing his G-Max, honestly.
Well, let me offer this. You guys, it's a G-Max Appleton. It's not Flapple. It's not Flapple. Like, they look the same, but it's not Flapple. But honestly, it kind of still gets hit like Flapple. It is bulkier, and it is built to handle more than what Flapple can handle, but it still gets obliterated by Ice Beam. So like for me, it's like, God, if for some reason Squid lets Bishmee get up a Swift Swimming this time,
rushing Beartick in the rain.
and if for some reason that Beartick gets a Swords Dance off, that Appleton, I don't care what kind of defensive build you have on it, it's going to get obliterated by an Icicle Crash. That thing will be blowing back to the moon. Yeah, the Sea of Tranquility will have a new crater next to it because it'll be G-Max Appleton.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if he brings it this week. I kind of influenced him to start bringing it, and I take it back, man. Just whatever you're doing, it was working before. If you don't need the G-Max, don't bring it, man.
It's not a very good G-Maxer. Yeah. But he's still got some premier mons, though. Aegislash, Arcanine, Claydol, and Lucario, are the first few that just scream to me. But then, even you see all the way down at the bottom, he's got Rabombe. He could try to counter you. If you, for some reason, run Rain Beartick over Ice Beartick, and he could bring Quillfish, a Swift Swing Quillfish. So, be careful of that.
I definitely like what he does with his team every week. Like I said, he's always got a new trick up his sleeve. I kind of strayed away from that after my match with you, and and I'm definitely thinking of cooking something up for going against the Lisbon Arcanines, just to have a little bit of fun tech on each of our sides.
That that prep can really mean the difference in a matchup, and if Squid is bringing something different every week, I mean that's why he's number one over in the Sword division. Then,
yeah, I want to say that I'm expected his Aegis Slash to come. He's brought that one to every match. That's his S tier, and Aegis Slash. We could see it could be ran multiple different ways: special, physical, toxic, king shield. A mix set. So, along with that, maybe like you said, the Arcanine. I could see him bringing Lucario.
Aegis Slash is going to be tough for you to handle.
Kind of hard to break through, right?
Yeah. Because Sigilyph with Heat Wave doesn't look great. Because you obviously kind of want to stray away from physical attackers on Aegis Slash so that you're not falling into the King Shield trap. But your best special attacker, Sigilyph, is a shadow sneak away from getting murdered. I mean, Thievul looks pretty good. Any thoughts on some electric terrain shenanigans?
Maybe. I would like to have a more confirmed way of setting it up outside of Tokenomaru, but I could definitely see that being a route I take. It's just you see that in the team prep, Tokenomaru and Morpeko, you're like, well, that's electric terrain. Actually, I don't think he has a way of stopping it now that you bring it up. So, it could be a route I take. I have a couple other ideas also.
He can't. I don't know what Appleton can learn. To counter terrain is really only from a Dynamax, Gigantamax perspective, really.
Because no one runs terrain,
None of the Mons here have terrain abilities.
Right. Yeah, the surge abilities.
And Gmax Appleton cannot learn a grass. It can't fire off grass moves that aren't its Gmax move, which has its other effects. So it actually doesn't set up grassy terrain, if I remember correctly.
My only concern with that is like you said, Lucario. I could see him coming in and like vacuum waving my whole team. Actually, well, most of the Mons, Beartic, Morpeko, Thievul, and Tokenomaru. Because he does like to run that more special than physical, and I could see it like here, or even just throwing off close combats on the same 5 Mons. That's like half my team. So
yeah. Scarf Lucario is not a super common set, but it actually can be really fun and surprises a lot of people. And when a fighting type like Lucario looks so good in a matchup, I'm telling you what, Scarf looks not terrible.
Yeah, because literally he doesn't have to press anything else.
Yeah. Well, good luck on your prep and good luck in your matchup. Let's go ahead and run this outro, right? So thank you guys for hanging out with us today. As we say every single week, we know these are on the longer side. They are a full analysis. We're looking at power rankings, our prior matchups, and our outlook on the next week. But it's always fun for us. Bishmii and I enjoy hanging out and chatting through our Pokemon matchups. And we enjoy having you guys here for the premiere. So it's a good way to see what's in our head and how we look at Pokemon. And I think we're decent battlers, right, Bishmii?
I think I'm all right. I could be a little crazy at times. Other than that,
a little crazy is good though. How many times am I going to see Metronome, Aura Wheel, Morpeko? That's fun. I think that was a fun one.
Yo, imagine like you said, you with the Quagsire, you literally threw something together because you couldn't bring it. Yeah, it just kind of worked. Yeah, it was like wow, I did not expect it to perform in this manner. And it was just so fun commentating that too. It was like boom, KO, KO.
Yeah, it's been, you get your crazy moments, but thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Remember, if you are new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a like below if you enjoyed the video and enjoyed hanging out with us today. You guys, Bishmee's video or channel is going to be linked in the description below. Make sure you guys please go click on that link and show him some love. Drop a subscription. Check out our other weeks of battles and our other weeks of analysis videos. The analysis videos are always fun. I think we have a good time. We get some good laughs out of them. I think that's it. Anything from you, Bishmii?
No, that's it. Thank you guys for hopping in and chilling with us. And just make sure, you guys keep up with the content. We're pushing out a lot of great stuff.
Absolutely. All right, you guys, so we will catch you guys later. We will see you guys in our Week 8 matchups, and we will see you guys for the Week 8 analysis video over on Bishmee's channel as we are bouncing back and forth. With that, I will catch you later. See ya.